Good morning, everyone, for this Clearings to Start Your Day, May 17th already. Today we're talking about the imposter syndrome or feeling like a fraud. Today's going to be a little bit more vulnerable than I usually share because this is one, I don't usually do clearing work in these videos on something that I'm currently in the middle of. Normally it's something that I've previously experienced or recently experienced, but have done the clearing work and I feel totally clear, totally clean. Hello, Warren, hey, thanks for being here live. Hi, Charmaine. But today I'm doing this one as I'm in my own experience of imposter syndrome or feeling like a fraud. So it's a very unique one. I'll do my best not to cry, all joking aside. I love also talking about this in the context of some of Brene Brown's language. She talks about shame or shame triggers, being in a shame storm. And that for men, the biggest trigger for shame is feeling weak or being perceived as weak. And for me, that has always come down to money. So business and money. It's never been about my physical, oh, hi, Stephanie. Thanks for being live. It's never been about my physical strength. I've always felt very competent that way. Emotional strength, I've always felt competent. My relationship, in so many areas, I don't have shame triggers in that way. But around money, I have. So I've recently, in my business, clarified the work that I do the best. And it's been in my face this whole time as an energy worker that the results that my clients get are expanded visibility, expansion and visibility. The businesses expand, they get more clients, they get more money. The visibility expands, they get seen more, they get featured more in media, and potential and ideal clients see them and want to work with them. And that's been the number one result that's been showing up, but I never really acknowledged that because I was too focused on other results that I wanted to showcase with my clients or wanted to produce with them. So in that new clarification that I could be the visibility guy, or at least the energy clearer for visibility and expansion, it opens up a whole new world, specific topics that I can do for podcasts, radio interviews, in other people's Facebook groups. It opens up a whole new world of expansion and visibility for myself. Kind of funny how that all worked out. And the more clear I get about that, the more I've noticed myself shutting down. The more fear has been coming up, the more shame around, well, I'm not there yet. I don't have a full-time business yet. I'm still getting there. And even though my clients get those amazing results and I have a growing daily Facebook group and we've got these challenges in there that are going really well and our Friday Facebook Live, like everything is expanding and my visibility is expanding, but still I'm dealing with the shame. So if you're in any of that, in your business, in your life, where you are in the middle of working on expansion or visibility and some shame is coming up, or you're feeling like a fraud or imposter syndrome is coming up, then this video is very much for you. So I started to realize that this is just like anything else. This is just a set of beliefs. Some energy on that. It's just a set of beliefs. It's just belief patterns, energy, and especially beliefs that I've picked up or that you've picked up from other people or society. So the belief that you have to have all of your results, all of your processes perfectly figured out before you're allowed to be a guide or a support for anyone else dealing with the same thing. That belief, would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? The belief that you have to have a degree or certification before you can be a support, guide, or facilitator for others on their journey. Would you be willing to return that to sender with love and consciousness attached? Now, caveat there, if you're going to be a doctor, please go to med school. If you're going to be a lawyer, please go to law school. I got a great deal of training before I started doing this energy work, this healing work with others. I'm not saying that after one course, you should go out and start doing your work with people. I do believe that most healers and coaches and speakers and authors actually need way more training than they have, but it doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out. It doesn't, because if that was the case, if you had to have all the money and a full client roster before you're allowed to have clients, well, that's a catch-22 that doesn't really work. you're allowed to grow and expand from where you are to where you want to be. So maybe you start pro bono with clients, or maybe you start at $50 an hour instead of $100 an hour, and then you grow as you can demonstrate that your clients get results. So I wouldn't be coming out to say that I'm a visibility and expansion expert as an energy worker if I didn't have lots of clients who had those results. If I hadn't had those results myself, I wouldn't be saying that. So this is just about up-leveling to the next place. So all the ways that you've been refusing to up-level because you're afraid of what others might think. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? All the ways you've been expecting unfair results from yourself before you're allowed to be an expert, a guide, or facilitator for others. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Now I have another one written down here. I don't want to forget it. The belief that people will only respect what you have to say if you are perfect in that field. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Amy says, ooh, I get that feeling frequently. Amy, there's a delay when you type, so if you could let me know what is the feeling that you get frequently, we can dive a little bit more deeply on that. All the ways that you are using and allowing the fear of judgment from others to keep you small and not as expanded as you could be, not as visible as you could be. Because what will they think if you come out and say you're this expert, you're this healer, you're this coach, you're this guide, when you're not perfect? Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Okay, let's see. There's a couple more that want to come through here that weren't written down beforehand, but they're here in the energy. Amy says, I feel like you picked these topics just for me. Yes, Amy, we do seem to be very in sync lately. It's pretty great. Oh, the belief that you have to have fill in the blank number of clients before you're allowed to expand to the next level in your business or practice. Would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Because so many of us, we have this magic number that is unsaid in our heads that we have to reach before we're really allowed to own our gifts, our abilities, our expertise, whatever you want to call that. So would you be, that magic number that you have somewhere in your subconscious or conscious, would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Whew. Oh, Stephanie's got a good one here too. She says, willing to stand strong in being controversial. Yeah, absolutely. That is a huge one, because when we're willing to be controversial, we have to be willing to receive all the judgments from others. And there are many of us that have a strong exterior and we say, yeah, I don't care what others think. But down deep, we really do. Or we don't have that strong exterior, we're working on it, and we really care what others think. So when we're willing to be controversial, but also when we're willing to be controversial, that's when our visibility expands times 10, times 100. One of my best responded to posts is titled, Are Boundaries Really Judgments? And people respond in that one with really well thought out comments. And so Facebook loves that, the algorithm loves that, and it gets shared a lot more often. But it's not everyone loves it. Some people respond to say, I don't agree. And that's cool. That's great. I have to be willing to receive that judgment. And the very first person that ever responded to that said something like, well, you're white living in you're a white male living in North America. Yeah, you don't need boundaries. And when I first read that, it was like, ooh. And I wanted to justify and explain, I've been emotionally sensitive my whole life. I have needed boundaries just as much as the next person. I had, not to make a sob story, but, I had an alcoholic father, never abusive, but I had an alcoholic father who I felt I needed boundaries from. I had emotionally abusive family members. I grew up in a society that did not value my emotional sensitivity, and I often needed boundaries. So I was never abused in a physical or sexual way, but I definitely felt I needed my share of boundaries. So that comment was pretty off base. I see where she was coming from, but it was off base. So I wanted to go down that road of justifying, but I realized that no, that's not being willing to receive, because when we're willing to receive and allow those judgments, the shame goes away. That fear of being an imposter goes away. That feeling like a fraud goes away, because then we can honestly say what results we've produced. I never lie or beef up the results that I have in my business to sign a client or to make money, ever. If anything, I have to work at being a little bit more clear about the results my clients have had and being clear about the immense value that I do provide. I have to get stronger in stating that. I'm on the lower end. And that's probably most of the people that are watching this video as well. So a little bit more, oops, did not mean to flip around. Hello again. Stephanie clarified a little bit. I'm about to ruffle a lot of feathers with colleagues equals by questioning their belief systems, being able to let the criticism wear me down, learning to love the haters when they come, not here yet. Okay, so Stephanie, if I can offer a little tweak there, instead of it wearing you down, try lowering your barriers, dropping your energetic barriers, and do a visualization if it helps. That's what I do, and I drop the barriers. I'll just drop them, and I allow that judgment energy to come through, and I literally see it coming through, and I stop trying to resist it. And when I do that, I can feel myself step back into receiving, and usually within a day or two, some amazing result shows up in my business that I couldn't have planned for. Because when I'm willing to receive the hate, it opens me up to receive everything else. So that's what I would offer if you want to give that a try. Amy clarified and said, well, actually, so far, everything you have said this morning, and then I am critical of myself for thinking I have to be perfect. Okay, great. So let's tackle that, and then we'll end there. This is a much longer video than normal in the morning, but that's because it's such a juicy topic. We could do a whole week's worth of videos on this. And also, if you'd like more on this topic, today in our private group, in the Clear What's in the Way Facebook group, we're doing a Facebook Live at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. And the title for that, oh, I left the document. It's Clearing Blocks Joyfully, I believe it is. Yes, Clearing Blocks Joyfully. We're going to cover the 3 ways that I clear blocks joyfully. And 2 of them are really, 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 really supportive and helpful if you're dealing with shame, if you're dealing with the imposter syndrome or feeling like a fraud. Number 2 and 3 are so helpful for this. Because if you don't use number 2 and 3 that I'm going to be sharing about, then you really get stuck in your own ruts and your own divots, and it's really tough to get out. So if you really want to go much deeper on this, then I'd encourage you to join us in that free group. So just search in Facebook, Clear What's in the Way Facebook group, and 2:30 Eastern Standard Time today, we're going to do a half-hour live Facebook Live. So Amy, so I am critical of myself for thinking I have to be perfect. Yeah, so maybe, Amy, write that out, actually. And for everyone who's listening, who's got that perfection thing. And Amy, will the video be available after? Can't attend at 2. It's 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. But yes, it'll be up in the group afterwards as a recording for sure. So Amy, oh yeah, other Amy Colburn, write out what perfect looks like to you. So when I haven't done that yet, but when I even think about it, like what results would I have to have for me to feel comfortable going on all the podcasts that I'm lining up, and working with all the clients that I want to work with, and what would I have to have accomplished for all of that to be okay, for all that to be allowed, for me to be perfect, for me to not fear judgment from other people. And when I look at it, I'm like, oh, well, I'd have to already have a 10K a month business. Joanne says, I really need to speak to you and stop procrastinating. Okay, cool. I don't know what that is about, but Joanne, I would love to speak to you. And yes, stop procrastinating. So when I think about that and I write it all out, it's like I'd have to have a 10K a month business. I would have to have 24 testimonials that have very specific. Before working with Will, I was broke, and after working with Will for 6 hours, I made $1 million. That's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. Like the kinds of testimonials that are so clear like that, and don't require 6 months of working with me, but only like 6 days or 6 weeks, things like that. I would also I'd have to be full-time in my business. I'd have to have let go of that part-time job that I have to supplement my income. I would have to be a way better dad, because clearly there's still some contradictions there to being like this, amazing energy guy. I would have to have no more pain in my right elbow, because that's not in alignment, because energy healers who really are perfect and know their stuff don't have pain in their elbow. There's this whole list of things. And then I realize this is ridiculous. For one, I can't get those results without being willing to not have it all figured out yet and work with clients to get there for the income goals. And two, no one is that perfect. I'm getting there. I'm doing my thing. I do my yoga every morning, my meditation. I do my energy clearing. I'm joyful. I do my gratitude. I do my prayer work. I'm doing all the things. So at what point, Will, and everyone watching, at what point can you say, I'm enough? I have done enough. I am enough, I've done enough. I am enough, I've done enough. And all the ways that you are refusing to allow yourself to be at that place so that you can continue to not be at that place, so that you can continue to beat yourself up and feel like a pile of shit. Everything that is, would you be willing to destroy that at the point of creation? Last thing, did not expect that I would share this here, but I have the most powerful prayer that I have ever heard. And I heard it, Andrew says, thank you for the list. We all have that BS. We are not alone. Yeah, absolutely. So this is the most powerful prayer I've ever heard. And it's going to be one of the pieces. I'm teaching my very first spiritual clarity level 1 class, and it's not coming up for a while. I think it's June, or it's in a month and a half. So June 30th. It's going to be online. I'm going to teach everyone who wants to learn how to do exactly what I do in private sessions with clients online, so that you can learn exactly what I do and you can have clients that way. So I'm actually first time ever teaching those skills. It's crazy. I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to work, but I don't know. I've never done it before. Certainly never done it online like that. It's very nerve-wracking, also very exciting. And this is one of the big tools that I'm gonna teach. And I didn't make it up. I just heard it on a movie and realized its immense power and significance. So the movie is called The 13th Warrior, and it's Antonio Banderas in the most culturally inappropriate role ever, I think, because he's an Arabic ambassador, Spanish as he is, and he ends up going with the Norsemen up north to fight this evil presence that is in a village up north. And he doesn't speak the language, and they're these heathens, and he is this, Arabic prince, Spanish, but he learns the language, etc., etc., etc. It's a really fun movie. But he's Muslim in the movie, and they're about to go into this battle where they know they're going to die, and it's raining, and it's muddy, and it's gross. And just before the hordes come to attack them, he takes off his boots, and he steps into the mud. He doesn't have a mat to do his prayer. But he steps out of his boots into the mud, the rain coming down, and they know they're going to die. And he says, "For all the things I should have said and have not said. For all the things I should have done and have not done. For all the things I should have been and have not been. Lord, please forgive me." Now you can change the last part if that's not comfortable for you to "I am forgiven," or "I am released," or whatever you like. It doesn't have to be about God. I just personally love that language. But that prayer is one of the most powerful prayers I've ever heard and been blessed to use in my life. So I give that to you as a gift. I did not expect to share that. But when you're dealing with perfection and this imposter syndrome and feeling like a fraud, that prayer can be such a powerful place to go, because it just releases all the shoulds, all the have tos, everything that you should have done but haven't done. And it's going to be a big piece of this level 1, the spiritual clarity level 1 class that I'm teaching in about 6 weeks. So that is a gift to you I did not expect to give. Have an amazing day. Would love to see you at the live later today, 2:30, in our free group for more on the ways that you can move through this gracefully and with love. Thank you for hearing my kind of vulnerable share. I didn't expect to share about things or to do clearing on things that I hadn't yet moved fully through. So thank you for receiving that. And yeah, I will see you again for the next installment of this next week on Monday, early morning. I only do these on the weekdays, but we'll see you there. Charmaine said, powerful prayer sent shivers down my spine. Yes, it is. It is one of those tools that is just beautiful. Okay, have an amazing day. See you soon. Bye-bye.